Select Board to order. First item on the agenda is consider additions or adjustments, and there are 4 so far. We're going to add them to the end because there's a lot of people here for other things. One is the municipal planning grant resolution form, which the board received. One is the interlocal kennel agreement renewal. One is high water signs from the Department of Environmental Conservation with the state, and one is an executive session for employee evaluation under 313A3. Are there any other additions or adjustments to the agenda?
I would love to stay until midnight, but I can't think of anything.
We'll try to stretch them out. Invoices and orders are going around. Any questions about that? Next up is public comment and announcements. Are there any public comment or announcements? Casey.
I have one. An announcement, which is just briefly that these are the cost of working on the water line and such. I was in touch with conversations today with Vermont Community Foundation, and if this work meets their definition of the health criterion part of the grant application for a special and urgent need grant, small grant up to $5,000. The town could qualify for that. That's the one question area, and I'll keep working with that what I can.
Awesome.
And there's the additional question is on behalf of the State Park Committee have asked for a down the road discussion or talk about the one big bill that's been incurred so far, but that's not, it's in your orders or should be for tonight. And this is, that should proceed on its own, right, Tom?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Care to elaborate?
No.
Leaving me on the edge
No,
here.
it's down the road.
If it's in the orders tonight, it's being paid. Right?
Yes, to be honest, I was typing up on the agenda and I didn't hear what was said.
Okay. If it's in the orders tonight, it's being paid.
Right, it should be paid.
Okay, so your question is down the road.
I want to talk about how it's accounted for.
Okay,
But
that's a treasurer
that's
thing.
us.
Yep, that's a Rosemary thing.
Next meeting would be better because Rosemary's
Yeah.
present.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Any further public comment or announcements? Seeing none, select board issues, concerns, and updates. Are there any issues, concerns, or updates from the board? No. We got rain.
Yeah.
Pretty exciting.
Is that a concern or an issue?
It's an update.
Update.
Yeah, I was gonna bring up drought, because I've heard a lot of people have had well issues lately, and I just wanted to put that on people's radar for looking for any solutions that us as the select board could do, but since it's raining, maybe I could hold off on that, but it's still something to think about.
Sounds good. Are there any planned purchases, Tom?
None.
No planned purchases. Wonderful. So the committee that is presenting an update to us today is the Reimagine Johnson Recreational Economy Task Force. I think they outnumber us tonight, so that'd be nice. Do you guys have something you'd like to present, what you're working on,
Sure,
future
yeah,
goals?
I think
Can we get
mostly
that?
2 things. I just want to update you on the things we've been doing. And then talk a little bit about the recreational economy and rural community, whatever they're called. That's coming through, if it ever does come through, and its relationship to us. So I guess first of all, we came out of that Vermont Council on Rural Development, Reimagine Johnson, and So we met probably, it's coming up to a year now, and it's been really interesting because we brought in a lot of people to talk about their recreation needs. And overall, our approach has been to pay attention and see what we can do to build on the economic, or on the recreation resources that Johnson has. And I think all of us, and I hear echo from other places, really recognize that Johnson has pretty extraordinary recreation resources just by the nature of our geography, that we have the mountains and the river, and we have the crossing of major trails like the rail trail and the lime trail. And so we're really set and poised to really make the most of what we have around us. And so that's sort of a given. We wanted to pay attention to the work that's been done before. So we spent time creating a survey of our recreational assets. And we also went back and read a lot of plans that have been made before, like the pathway plans and the park plan. Well, we never actually got to a park plan, and the town plan, what it recommended for recreation. So we didn't want to ignore, we wanted to sort of bring in all the work that's been done before and see how we could make the most of it. And what's been really interesting is there's just a lot out there about recreation and the economy, but I think it's really important to say that, you know, there's talk about making recreation in the town, but our view is not that we want to build a bunch of stuff to get other people to come and spend their money here. That it's great if people come to Johnson and spend their money here, and in the long run, we want economic development for the town, but we also want to pay attention and make sure that our recreation is about the people who live here, to enhance elementary school and high school education, to enhance the connections between the college and the high school and the elementary school, some of which has happened. And also to pay attention to what people in town do for recreation and how it can be better, how we can connect paths and connect facilities and make more of what is already here. Keeping in mind that if we make sure that our access to recreation is really good, that is something that's going to enhance the quality of life. And also, I think, develop a real sense of pride of place and excitement about Johnson itself and seeing what it has to offer to the people who live here. So that's sort of Johnson, for the people of Johnson in some way, and recreation for all those who are here was like a real starting point. Yeah, so I think that that's been our starting place. I think if we look at our goals, Diana said that she wanted Johnson to be the town that recreation saved, leveraging unique geographic positions, Johnson's natural and built environment, and the community values to enhance it. And then, you know, lots of people have come to visit our committee. So I think, is there maybe some of the people who are on the committee want to, maybe you, Diana's the co-chair, so maybe you can talk.
I'll just speak ever so briefly to needs. We were provided with a few questions that you sometimes ask committees, and this is a little bit of a different thing because we're not really a committee. Although we've had nothing but the goal from the get-go through now of being collaborators. You know, we are trying to do the work of the town as best we can as volunteers, and to be totally compatible with every bit of work that's already been done. You know, to try to find the things like in the municipal plan or in plans from work over the last 25 years that were conceptual but never realized. Just today, Lois was kind enough to share with me the Conservation Commission maps of trails that they had, you know, planned, and the work's been done, but there needs to be somebody to connect the dots and find, okay, this is the work that was planned, hoped for, met community goals. We're getting well connected now within the grant community, and we're trying to figure out how to fund that, because the last thing we want to do is have our taxes go up, right? So we're trying to figure out, okay, so how can we see what the community need is? How can we finance it? how can we make that whole thing easiest on you guys as the select board? Make your, to work as partners in making the town better, stronger. So, our needs are really like none. We don't need anything from you. We're making an offer to you that we have a wonderful committee of well-qualified expertise and knowledge. We've done a lot of the groundwork, and as long as we can help you, we're willing. And one of the ways that it came to our attention that you might be able to use our help most is with this EPA grant opportunity, even though that's maybe temporarily on hold. The work that goes into it is very much the work that we've already done, and so we're happy to share what we're doing.
Do any of you all want to talk particularly about projects that we've worked on so far? Doug, Charles, and Lorna?
Well, as you know, we put together the Discover Johnson brochure, which was done hand in glove with the Recreation Task Force. We actually were able to, as a 501c3, deal with the money that was coming through from
PRD.
PRD. And so that's how it ended up happening that way. But so we see ourselves working, hand in glove with what they're doing, and hopefully going on from that, because a lot of this is all built around part of our purview is the recreation economy, which can underpin a lot of things in the future.
Yeah, there's a lot of growth potential that can go very smoothly with the identity that Johnson already has and the goal that we have, because there isn't a lot of infrastructure. I'm speaking about Discover Johnson right now, that we are an outgrowth of, but a separate nonprofit. And so we feel very empowered by the work that we've helped do with the Recreation Committee, but they've done, infinitely more than just the two of us could have done. And so we're basically piggybacking on some genius infrastructure perception and listing that they have, I believe, over 70 or 80 interesting features that are on your spreadsheet of recreational assets. And each one of these assets can be sort of paired with, you can mix and match assets to create multiple interesting events and multiple interesting experiences for people within the community and who would want to visit the community. So one of the big pieces here is creating a Johnson that people come to because they've heard about it and they want to experience it for themselves. One of the greatest ways they can come here is on the rail trail. Once people, we have 50,000 people going past the rail trail and not knowing Johnson's here, but once the good message is out to the recreation community that we have a lot more assets in here to come and visit and explore, and sort of position it with the open-ended naturalness that Johnson has. We're not a pretentious, overbuilt ski company, but we're in the middle of 3 beautiful communities that have tons of lodging. We currently don't have lodging. We have the potential to attract lodging to be built, but we really need to sort of chug along and build it with day trips and day visitors, and build our reputation, and find people who want to come and live here, find people who want to come and build in the industrial park or bring their businesses here. But if we promote our flavor of what we are, we won't be attracting people that are interested in undermining what we are. We don't want to turn into an overly developed, pretentious area. We're sort of like the middle class nest egg of remaining American decency. And I want that to stay the same. And I also want us to be known for health tourism and wellness tourism. And I've been engaged in creating some opportunities for that to happen, because there are a lot of people that might not be seriously physically robust or have all the experiences that they need to ice climb in the middle of a raging torrent, but they might want to come here and experience some peacefulness and some beauty and some joy and find a way to do that. So there's this whole other component of recreation that can be developed. And that's, I have three categories of tech tourism that I'm interested in promoting in a sensible way that doesn't overkill. Like I said, doesn't drag in the raving hordes who say, where is my bed and breakfast, or where is my fancy hotel, or where is my 5-star meal? But we want to bring in people that will be very happy to participate and discover more with agritourism. So I want to bring in a lot of farm family events, recreational tourism, and wellness tourism. And then all three, the college has amazing infrastructure. There's so many wonderful things to kind of just elevate, connect, and enjoy.
Yeah, some of the collaborations that have come about so far, which I'm sure you know about, is early on, Kate Harney, who's on our task force from the college. She's the training center. Yeah, and then she's a coach also. That she connected immediately with Isabel Sullivan, and he said, hey, what about Isabel said, what about the swimming program? And Kate said, we can do that, we can restart that. So the family swim night was restarted, and access to the community. I mean, a lot of things sort of fell apart during COVID. So, and the swim lessons that have happened at the college, which a lot of people here, it's how they learn to swim, have been restarted. Also with the college, Eric News said, when my kids were young, we used to use the lower pond as the way for people to learn how to fish. He's like, I wonder, and he did an outreach to Fish and Wildlife to see, I wonder if there's money around to reestablish that pond, to make sure that it's healthy, to get it stocked. And so he's been working to see if he can find funding, and also working through the college end of it to see if that's something that would be acceptable to do. And there's a number of ideas that are sort of percolating between the town and the college about recreation that you don't really know when it's going to catch fire and everyone's going to say okay, but I think some yeses have been happening, and that's like a really good sign. And another thing that sort of is coming out of this, I think, Doug, did you put this together during COVID or just before COVID?
It was probably before COVID.
Have you all seen this, the Vermont
Paddler's Trail.
Lamoille? So we've been putting this about and brought it to Johnson Farm and Garden and someplace else in town so that it could be accessible to people. And then Eric put together a paddle. So it was an event in June where people were invited, and it was promoted on Front Porch Forum to paddle their kayak or borrow a kayak and paddle that downriver where they left their bike and ride their bike back up on the rail trail. And so I think, there's like sort of easy access things that are already there, but we don't really have all the right river access points. And so there are some things that are probably easier to do, and I think are going to be more important as properties along the river, if they get the buyout happen, to think about how those properties are going to be used if they are in the town, in the hands of the town. And also then there are bigger ideas. There was someone who did kayaking who came to our committee and talked about a whitewater park on the river, which to me sounded like, how could that ever happen? But
I took it with great excitement, and I was fortunate to get the buy-in or the interest of Seth Jensen, and I also asked Paul Warden to come in on this journey, and we have Ben Schott, who's a fantastic, really renowned kayaker, who's the one who brought it to our attention, but Eric Cruz is the one who brought him in. And Eric has, and there are about three different, and Doug, they have about 3 different spots that they think would make a really tremendous whitewater center. And I reached out and done Zooms with a variety of people who've actually built, the gentleman who actually built the whitewater center in Franklin City, Mill City Park, New Hampshire, the whitewater center. And he told me that they're also planning one in Montpelier. And so what these do, and the beautiful thing about the Whitewater Center that I have learned, which is just really unbelievable, it doesn't bring in as many visitors or as much money to itself as they had predicted, but it does bring in. What it did was they went from 1 to 9 restaurants in the town. Someone came in and developed an $82 million sort of living and business center. Someone rehabbed 130 apartments. They have people come to watch the whitewatering, but the more interesting thing is they've developed a river culture for the kids. And when the water isn't strong enough to propel kayaks, they have boogie boarding. Dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of kids in there boogie boarding and enjoying themselves. And when the water flow is even lower, there's tubing. And we all know how much fun that is just personally. So one of the things that I included in my a recent grant that I wrote was to really try and find more money for more lifeguard hours at the school. Because when I spoke with Kate, like Kathy said, during COVID, a lot of swimming culture went down, and there aren't as many kids that are ready to be lifeguards. And so my thing is, well, you know, there's a water park in KP that needs lifeguards. We could be creating jobs and creating more strong swimmers and a better culture for water sports just by investing not from the town, but from like other money.
Or possibly private.
Non-town money, like foundation money or grant money or something like that, to really engage in river and kayak safety and water safety as a community thing. It would be like free or very, very low cost for residents, and then money for people who come in from out of town who want to engage in our workshops and stuff like that. But I think it's really a lot of potential because of the growth that it brings. And it's supposed to be, it's just a river feature, and it's actually good for fish and good for the flooding issues. There's a lot of hand-in-hand work with the people who do flood mitigation and all that stuff, who think these are wonderful things. So.
Yeah, I wanted to ask Carl, the EPA RERC, that is still on, or is that on hold?
It's on hold because of the.
Okay, but other than the government shutdown.
Oh.
So everything. Well, the Johnson, I think, is in a rather unique position, is that people outside of the community are really willing to help us, and now is the time to do things. If this and the government gets back to business and we have this, I would suggest that the select board really jump in on the EPA REC and that RC. And it's really important for this community because of the assets. The number of opportunities that we have are amazing. I've been, when Leah was here, I was pushing to have a rail trail 15 years ago. And the rail trail committee is really, where we're working on is really low hanging fruit. You've been reading, there's 20,000 people going in. We have a study on how to best get people PhD, how to best get people into the village. The rail trail committee is trying to keep up with what the needs are, like we need bike racks, but at some point in time, if we get restaurants, if we get hotels, if we get housing, the needs are going to change, they're going to increase, and there'll be additional grants. It's really hard to forecast what will pop up and when it will pop up. I talked to Sodexo in relationship to food in Johnson, because some of you may have eaten and are aware that the Sodexo food service is publicly available up there. And I asked, can we advertise this? And the manager said, yes. Yes, we can. I talked to Alexis Anderson and asked her about, what about the weight room? What about the pickleball court? What about the tennis courts? What about the swimming pool? What about your ski area? What about your golf course? Today I called the Vermont head of the Professional Disc Golf Association. It turns out the first tournament we ever run was at Johnson State College, and then I happened to call, I have a nephew who is, designs disc golf courses in Minnesota. And I reached him and he said, oh, you know, you have another disc golf course. I didn't know there was another disc golf course. And I asked about the growth in that. Who does it bring in? What ages does it serve? What we really need in this community is for you folks to jump into this, to appoint a good steering committee, to bring in people from the Green Mountain Club, the outside agencies, and let us ask them, what can we do for you, here? And the ideas that I'm seeing here, you're just getting the tip of the iceberg, If you sat in on 5 meetings, you'd say, man, there's something here, we should work on this. This isn't something to be cheap and we're not asking for money, I think that people will be wanting to give us money to do these things.
We're happy about that. It's like a treasure.
Where's the park in New Hampshire?
It's in Mill City, Franklin, New Hampshire is called Mill City Park. And that gentleman, it's a long project. He's been working on it for 10 years. He started a nonprofit the same day that he started looking to build it and get it happening. It has to be on municipal land. It's another thing that we love about Johnson is that everything is publicly accessible. It's free to everybody. It's such a gorgeous value. It's like a human right to have this gorgeous land. It's amazing. And to be able to access it and play on it all these different ways and to learn all about how to do all that playing. So the Whitewater gentleman, apparently there's someone who's trying to start one in Skowhegan, Maine, but she's just as far along, not much farther along than we are, which is the baby beginning. But Seth Jensen said that we might be able to use some of the studies that the Army Corps of Engineers already been doing about the rivers. So we might actually, because of the intensive study of the rivers that we've already got going on, we might actually be able to jump a little bit ahead. So we have to do a feasibility study, and then figure out the way to proceed.
Some of the other things we're looking at are camping, overnight accommodations. And I think people are looking at hut systems and hiking trails and biking trails that connect across the state. And so I think it's really important to be a part of those conversations and see how we can make sure that Johnson gets included.
Easy as a question for you guys.
I was going to let the board ask questions first.
It's really encouraging to hear all this, especially, hearing the part about the help is out there and they really want to, connect right now. It's encouraging because in the past and present, there's a gap between what the taxpayers and our tax revenue and so forth can pay for in terms of right now improving, maintaining infrastructure and the parks and areas that we already have. We fortunately have that position. We have part-time recreation, and we have public works, but we know that there's unmet needs. I think that's fair.
Well, I can only speak about Discover Johnson's part. We are all going for grants outside of it.
Right, but I think the part that's on this side of the table is, I don't know whether or not you guys did a survey or whatever of actually what's in place right now and what actually is possible to do right now versus needs.
I think that's the EPA grant. I think that's the EPA
Maybe.
recreation economy for rural communities that I believe they'll come in with economists and we'll tell them what we have. They might tell them, they should be telling us what will work.
I think you're hitting the nail on the head. I think that's what we need to pay attention to right now is, clearly we need to do something. All the all the challenges that came out to Johnson through the flood and everything. But this is an opportunity to move forward, but it's, what's really important is that we move forward in a thoughtful way, that we look at what's being built around us, what another town can't do that we can, what another town already has covered and we shouldn't bother with, how we can enhance what we already have here by encouraging, you know, this kind of business or that kind of business. And then prioritizing like what's going to be the most important to the people in Johnson, what's going to be the most helpful, what things have to happen first, second, third, order of operation kind of thinking, and all of it, of course, being mindful of what kind of potential income will it generate, and what kind of expenses will it generate for the town and upkeep. You know, I mean, clearly, when a town has a big boom in business, all of a sudden you have different road needs and things like that. I mean, we're not really gonna like predict the future on all this, but we have to be mindful and make choices and pay attention to, you know, what people want and try and speak to, you know, the kind of recreation that's gonna serve us in the area we are with the assets we have.
Thank you. Does the board have any questions?
Just amazing work, all of you. Thank
Yeah,
you.
not really. Sorry, go ahead. I thought you were finished.
Nope, I was done.
I was just gonna say, not a question either, but I'm really impressed by the work the task force has done. You guys, your task force has taken leaps and bounds farther than most of the other task forces, and it's because of your enthusiasm and all the various things you have spinning off from your central core is great, and I think it positions us really well for this RERC grant opportunity. So that's great homework, and thank you.
Well, I think that's something to keep in mind, you know, we don't really know, you know. I'm sure the government will restart, but we don't know whether this EPA grant will fall by the wayside or whatever. But that idea of big picture planning is something that really does need to happen. So please keep it in mind of how we can help do that if we don't have this situation with the expertise coming in to ask those questions. But meanwhile, you know, I think there's enough interest in this group to say we're not here to ask the town to build X, Y, or Z, you know, at all. That some of these come out of public funds, some of these things come out of not-for-profit organizations, and some of these create situations that bring in entrepreneurs, right? You know, and we probably don't want it all at once either, but that this is a really has been an exciting way forward in that, you know, recreation is something everyone wants, and if you feel like you're from the town that has, you know, this facility or that facility, then you have this sense of pride in your town too, and that's contagious. And when people visit, you can, I mean, yeah.
An engaged community fosters investment. It's just an engaged, happy community based around recreation and wellness and all the other things that we have to offer is what the attraction is.
And who knew there was such a thing as snowshoe disc golf? Now,
Yeah, and then we can turn it into a biathlon.
Right.
So there, it's really very
It's amazing. It's huge.
incredibly cool. Because we also have like just gorgeous farms, and there's so much potential for agricultural, you know, family farm events and stuff, just a lot.
Each of us has reached out to experts in different fields, and we've got our own specialties within us, but that's why this EPA grant is so important, because then we have all our ideas, we've had all the experts that we've reached out to, and now all these people are gonna come
The
on
bigger
top.
experts who really have a bigger picture. And the recreation economy, I think that's a new perspective on, you know, I think it's a term of art in a way. You know, everyone's excited about the advantages and the power of the recreation economy. And we could ride that wave and see where it takes us in a good way.
Oh, and one last thing, Eric has been out of town, so I can't really speak on his behalf, but I do want to say, speaking of.
Eric
Eric.
Schultz is also.
Yeah, Eric. He bothered on his vacation to email and say, I'm really interested in this RERC program and helping as a facilitator because I have a lot of training in facilitating from his time with Fish and Wildlife, yeah, and in other state programs and other like national programs for the states. So he expressed that enthusiasm. He really
I can tell you it's his 35th anniversary, so
Aw.
he's not going to be here.
He doesn't have to hunt it.
I would like to say that, I think that this board has the power and to work on something like this. And I think that there's a missing link in the system in Johnson, where I believe that you need someone to help share the information of the committees with you, and also that person would be a grant writer and a prioritizer. And I think that's a fundamental need that's missing in this community. I called person in the town of Pulteney, who is their CEDC, at the SCCDC. They went through this process. I asked her how it worked. She said it was absolutely fabulous, and their infrastructure increased, and they went full time with her position, because they found that they were getting the growth they wanted. The infrastructure is there. I think the rail trail is, when I testified in the legislature about the rail trail, I looked at all these guys who were as heavy as I was and said, in your community, you need this personally. But it's also going to bring people in who will spend their money in the town. The recreation economy, the recreation economy is a mix of benefits. It'll help the community, as we talked about, in terms of our kids. It will also help our community prosper as opposed to wither.
So just for clarity, when you're talking about Pulteney going through the process, you're referring to their previous EPA grant.
Yes,
Yeah,
They went
just
through-
so I just want to make
they
that
went
clear.
through the EPA.
Yeah.
Rural, recreational economy, rural communities,
Right.
planning grant system. And as I said, she said it was fabulous.
Just an
That's good
instance on
news.
one way that the recreation economy can build community and do more is that I believe it was in St. Johnsbury where there was an engineering firm that was having problems attracting engineers. And then what they ended up deciding was that they were going to advertise because of their location, their proximity to Kingdom Trails. They decided that they would advertise the need for engineers in mountain biking websites and in magazines, and that's how they got their people.
I guess this is not a public meeting, but there is a meeting coming up with Vermont Hudson Trails and the person for Vermont about the Vermont, which is a mountain biking trail that runs plus Johnson. I don't know what's going to come out of that, but I was talking to R.J. Thompson Hudson Trails for a number off and on for a number of months. He came in and he had a tour of Johnson. He was excited. We showed him the opportunities that our recreational opportunities, and he's coming back and talking about to us soon about what presence they might have here.
Thank you very much.
I have some questions.
Do you?
Yeah.
I gotta step out to my car.
Okay. Mhm. I just wanted to echo Paul's sentiment that you guys are doing such a great job making connections and doing groundwork, and it's really inspiring what you all are doing. For the steering committee, do you think you could send over a list of the people that you would want on it? I don't know if we have do we have a number? Oh, okay. Okay, maybe we can
Too. So it includes, the people who are here.
Mhm.
Eric.
Eric and Kate from the college. I'm on there. I know that you need a lot of people from outside to sort of bring in as you've seen it, so it's not like a live or die thing for me at all. I'm willing, I guess, is what I should say. I'm absolutely willing, but if you have other experts that will make a better mix, I won't.
Okay. Well, maybe we could preliminary, approve that list. So when the government opens back up, we can hit the ground running on it. So maybe if you could send that list for the next agenda, Carl.
Well, I can send you the names that have been.
Yeah.
submitted to me so far, plus the names that were on the original steering committee.
Okay. Mhm.
But I think that you might want to do some work on that.
To make sure they're
try to
still,
get a mixture of people who have expertise, and especially people in the state.
okay,
Providing guidance and just some local input.
okay,
I think that Kate and Morna and Charles and Doug and Eric all have specific recreation expertise.
Mhm.
But you also may want to bring in people from, I don't know how you're talking about seating the committee, but bring in, say, people from LCPC or bringing people in from the, state rail trail or the state, whatever, other programs.
Mhm.
So that they feel they have vested interest in what gets developed here.
Okay.
So, I think setting up a committee in a way that will bring the best to it.
okay. Mhm.
is-
Yeah.
you
Um,
want to cultivate some friends.
okay. The
But we
other,
want people who know what's local here too. That's the thing
Right.
about Kate at the college and Isabel. It's your call. She's an employee at the town, but
Mhm.
when
No.
she's been able to join us, she's really good.
Yeah, she'd be a great addition. I just want to put on you guys' radar, we have some highways, we've lowered their class to trails. So it's still in the process, but once those fully become trails, that might be something you want to include in advertising and
You're
other,
talking about for motorized vehicles?
for walking trails.
Oh, okay.
Hmm. Yeah,
Legal trails.
yeah, legal trails. Mhm.
It's always good to find.
The
Mhm.
Rail Trail Committee has a list of gravel roads that we would like to get on the Discover Johnson when they go, because there's a lot of interest. I see a lot of gravel bikers under us.
Mhm.
And the roads that you're turning into, listing, there's still town rights of that. That could be another recreational use.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I had a question for you, Doug. This is kind of related, but have you heard anything from the VHB scoping study yet? I don't.
No.
Okay. So I don't know when they were supposed to reach back out to us or not.
I'm sorry.
I don't know when they were supposed to give deliverables or reach again out to
I
us.
thought it was this fall or.
Okay.
The deadline is the end of the year, and today I got a response back from them that they're proposing to give you the report by December 1st or around December 1st and come to your December 15th select board meeting.
Okay.
So later I was gonna ask you if that was okay with the board to have that time.
Okay. Good. That's good to know. And then my last question is do you feel like you're functioning well as a task force still? When you get grants or funds going through the nonprofit, or is that still, is that tricky?
The task force does not have any method to handle money. Discover Johnson is not for profit. Does have a way to handle money.
Mhm.
I think that's up on our conversation about how we need to assess
Mhm.
as a task force, if we align with some other committee, if we really want to be a club. I don't know. I mean, I think we really need to have a full conversation and figure out what's going to make us the most effective, and I don't have an answer.
Okay.
But I think it's something that if we all talk about.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just speaking as one board member, but I want like whatever way you guys can function best to be the way you stay. Like if it's easier for you to become a committee and have us as a pass-through for grants and things, then.
That's actually like our next meeting, that is like a
Okay.
major topic as to how we see us going forward and what our relationship would be with the town.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, because I know the food access task force, I think is gonna come to our next meeting and ask to be a committee. So,
One of the things that we've been doing is studying what models exist in other towns and across the state. And at the state level, there's a Department of Forest Parks and Recreation dealing with natural resource areas, built resource areas, and then the ways people use them for recreation. Do you ever see that something might happen at the town level to form something more like departments? Like Public Works would combine with a conservation commission and the different recreation things like Johnson Rec and Skate Park and us to make a whole, like, would a town ever have departments, I guess is the.
A rec committee? You said earlier you don't want your taxes to go up, right?
Oh, no.
Departments require more employees.
Yeah, right.
Employees are,
So if we're willing to do the work for free and you're willing to accept it for free, there's no reason to get fancy and make it a department. It's gonna just cost everybody money.
I mean, I think
you
it's,
can answer the question as well, for sure. And this is as an individual board member. I am not speaking for the board here. I have wanted some way to combine some committees, that they could have subcommittees to reduce volunteer fatigue. And it's cumbersome, and I don't think a lot of the committees would really support it.
well, yeah, we obviously have kinship with the Rail Trail Committee and with the Conservation Commission.
Skate parks,
And the skate
outdoor
park,
recreation.
You know, what comes up is how we have to make a bridge across the Memorial. These guys have been. And that's something
Casey's a
that-
big advocate for that.
I know.
One of our first goals was Casey's Bridge, let's connect the skate park.
But, you know, I guess it's also thinking about how you don't get in your own way by having too much government or not enough structure that you actually can't get things done and don't think big enough. So you know, it's like trying to figure out the right stuff.
It might be evolutionary
Yeah,
process.
yeah. You know, we don't need to decide.
but just speaking for me, I could see us having like a Parks and Rec department. I think Parks and Recreation is worth investing in, adding a couple more employees to it. If our recreation keeps growing and if we use our FEMA buyout properties as green spaces, I could see those, and I think it's worth it, like maintaining them. I think volunteerism is great. And I'm always down for free things, but it's not sustainable and reliable. And I think that recreation is a big glue in Johnson that connects everything and holds a lot of things together. And
We were surprised to learn that actually.
yeah. So I think it's worth the investment, but that's just me.
Well, there's so much up in the air
Mhm.
with, you know, bio properties and,
I think we're getting a little bit off
Yeah.
topic
Yeah.
for the last
Yeah.
20 minutes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Everybody so much.
Yeah, thank you so much for
Thank
coming
you all for
in.
everything you do. Did you talk about the RERC steering committee, or you
Yes.
kind of already had your foot up there? You wanted representation on that
Yep.
when we appoint. Future committee, board?
I was gonna,
Food access?
yeah, food access.
We kind of got to be mindful here. Next month is mid-November, November, December, January, budget. We're gonna have extra meetings on the budget as is.
Mhm.
So when we eat up 40 minutes of time. I think we can do it for November, but December, I think for January, we might need to take a break.
Okay.
I don't think there's any town committees that we didn't hit this year. So I'm cool with the task forces.
Yeah.
All right, food access,
Mhm.
good. Task force. Thank you all very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Carl, you get the hot seat. We're not running behind, we're not running ahead. Later reports in the back of our package.
For me, it's right after.
That's it. Does that make it in? Right after.
Didn't make it in.
Right.
Tonight's packet. It was emailed out as a separate email.
Mine's right after the
Mine's
agenda.
looking too far.
Yes.
I did receive it via email. As far as the industrial park item, I know we had talked about deed restrictions and codicils a month ago. I didn't hear much from any board members about that. No, it's not cross report, but did you email out anything, Peter?
Well, Carl, I put some time into covenants, and I guess I'm honestly not sure where we left it. And we had a pretty good draft going.
We had a draft going and there were comments from Paul and from Peter, and next step is for me to add those comments into the outline that we had prepared. I think I shared it with the board, and it was from that Peter and Paul were giving me comments.
Okay.
So that's still in the works.
Would you like to go through your report?
Yeah, so the first topic is the NBRC grant and the industrial park. And so from what is written in your report, one comment is that the state permit applications did not get submitted on Friday. And there's some logistics there of getting the signed application forms and checks to Mumley, and I'm coming up tomorrow and I hope to help get that completed, so those go in tomorrow. So I gave you updates on all the other points, and I see that you've got the TSSA, or the Town Sewer Service Area, on the agenda. So, and I have something on that. I'll hold until we get to that on your meeting agenda. The other things, we've talked about before, like with the Fish and Game is going to draft a conservation easement on the Prindle lot. And we haven't seen that yet from them, but Noel Dodge seemed to be, very certain that they would provide the draft for us to review. So moving down, unless somebody has a question, please speak up. I'll move on the visioning project, and that's the project that Du Bois and King is leading. The meetings are acting as a facilitator. There's a meeting here in September, and we haven't heard anything about the second meeting from them. On the Welcome Center, the grant to help make some improvements to that building. We did get the contractor who submitted a proposal back in May to clarify just what he could do for the price that has been agreed to between the select board and the Rail Trail Committee. And so then that authorization went to that contractor last Friday. There has been no response from him yet, but he did say in the email where he indicated that he could do the work for the $14,250, I believe the amount was, that he could start that in December. with the other work that he has, he needs to get certain things done before winter sets in. The question came up earlier about the scoping study for the connection from the rail trail to downtown. And as I said earlier in this meeting, VHB is proposing to present their report to you on December 15th, but to send the report to you 2 weeks in advance. So you would have it to review. Before that, I was going to ask you if that sounds okay, or would you like me to get back to them and say you would like to, see this sooner and have a discussion sooner so you have more time to maybe make adjustments? Because my understanding is that the deadline for completing this project with this grant funding is December 31st.
If there's any push that we can get it.
Yeah, if it's possible to move it up, that would be great. That's a good suggestion.
Very good suggestion.
Move up like one meeting.
If possible, yeah. Two if possible.
Is that through V-Trans?
Yes. E-Trans is the Stone Steps. This is through VORIC, the Vermont Outdoor Recreation Economy.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what the
Up through
C stands for, but yes, I think it is.
Is it worth trying to put in an extension, just kind of calling, giving them a heads up that we're right on the deadline, or do you think we can get in?
I don't know. I don't have enough of a working relationship with VHB on this to say that, that they could do it if we ask.
Another thing that's come to light is we have this excellent opportunity with the EPA where we're kind of having these facilitators come up and identifying things for Johnson's future. And is there a value in delaying the VHB study to then design an implementation of what comes out of that facilitation? Right now, we're paying for something, assuming the only way in is on Railroad Street, when we're having the best and brightest come to Johnson and create it. We already have funding to pay the engineers to do something. They did the first half of the kind of the idea gathering.
Yeah, I understand your point, and this has been thought about and discussed a little bit. And the thought was that you don't need to hold up on the connector study. And even what the people that were at the alternatives presentation favored was the Railroad Street option. And that was like the least costly and the quickest thing to do, but it doesn't mean that Johnson can't pursue one of those other options later on. And that's something that the RERC planning can do. As I've been thinking about that process that's coming up, is it's like a capstone study and report. It's going to draw together all kinds of studies and plans that have been made, list of assets and so on. And one of them could be that Johnson is at this time pursuing a connector route from the rail trail to downtown via Railroad Street with such and such an improvement. However, another option that would serve other needs, like maybe the skate park, is a new bridge at a different location.
Yeah, there was quite a bit of support at that meeting for pursuing one of those other options at a later date. I mean, they were pretty strongly supported.
Yeah, but I think people that were there were also realistic.
Right. And we can't wait 10 years to get people.
Right, because people are riding on the rail trail right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and some of those improvements
But
are
to
not.
Tom's point, I think it's probably not a bad idea to plant the seed of a potential extension and see if that's feasible.
I can ask that question tomorrow too.
Okay, I think that'd be great.
All right, so the next item on my report was the RERC, and it's been pretty well discussed. Right now, that this has been a hurry up and wait process for me. You know, you've heard the cryptic messages during the summer that something's coming, but nobody can say anything about it. And then I was told, yeah, you're going to be able to say something about, oh, no, don't say anything about it. And so finally, the word came out that we could start talking about this publicly, and then shortly after that, get word that the staff there has been furloughed, effective that day that she sent out the email. So right now, things are on hold again. But organizing the steering committee is one of the first tasks that the town needs to complete. And then the steering committee will begin holding its meetings, virtual meetings with the EPA and other federal staff and their consultants who will serve as the facilitators. I heard that the term come up earlier tonight, but the people from the government and their consultants will act as the facilitators, and they'll act as the staff. They'll author the action plan. We're not going to have to be doing that, but the steering committee later on will review that and comment on it and ask for revisions. And also, when you get to that stage, everybody who participates in the day and a half public meetings, which is sort of like the heart of this planning process, gets to comment on the action plan according to the EPA's program guidelines that they've set up. So somebody comes out to those meetings and actively participates, provides their contact information, they'll be included later on when the draft action plan goes out.
You think beyond the steering committee, any members of the public? Yeah.
Yes. So a very minor update that so let's see, with the membership, one of the original steering committee members, as named by Randall, is also on the recreation economy task force. So there is a duplication there, and that person has expressed interest in continuing to serve. I don't have anything more regarding the Welcome Center steps than what I wrote to you and the report written last week. I just need to get through with some of these other details to spend time on that Act 250 application. And then,
Carl, sorry, quick question back on the steering committee. Did the EPA give us any guidance on the size of that? In some ways, more is better, but in other ways, things can't get on wheels as well. I'm just wondering if they had any.
No, they have not given any guidance. They haven't said that we recommend between 7 and 17 or more than 21 or anything, nothing at all. The original steering committee has stated in the application a year ago, there were 13 people on the committee. And I'm gathering from conversations that you're not, we're familiar with who was on that list, but it was a few people from Johnson, but then a lot of county and regional people were named to it. Some of them, I'm not sure about the connection between their agency or office and outdoor recreation, unless it was on a personal level that they were very familiar with outdoor recreation. But from their title that was stated, I don't know why Randall included them. And then there are some people, like people from the university, it's obvious why they should, because they're going to be such a major actor in this. that why they would be on the steering committee.
Mm.
And I answer your question, Paul.
Yeah, yeah, thank you.
And the Vermont Community Foundation grants, I don't have anything to add to what I wrote last week. Unless you have any questions.
Is there a deadline for the Legion Field?
All of these grants from DCF had a 1 year we'll call it performance period or a deadline of 1 year after the award date, but they're very, very lenient on that. And if they know that the town is active and trying to complete something, they're not going to push it.
Okay, great.
So, and at this point, I could provide information if I was asked on all of these that the town is doing something. As you look down through the list, you can, what what the town is up to.
Okay.
Okay. I believe it's in the agenda, but not in the packet, that you're looking for review and approval of the community engagement support for Legion Field.
Yes, so Dubois and King submitted the proposal, and your last meeting, you okayed that, and now we've received the agreement, which is their proposal, and then their boilerplate standard contract terms and conditions. I compared the proposal that came in the email just last Thursday, I believe, to the original one to make sure it was the same. They didn't change anything. It still calls for a fee of $6,000, the same breakdown for how much per task. The same staff would be working on this from the firm. And I also then looked at the contract terms and conditions. And for something this small, I don't have any heartburn about anything. If this was a bigger contract that involved construction, and there is some language in there that I would perhaps sort of push back a little bit, but I don't see it being a real big deal for this kind of a service.
I might have missed it, but I didn't see like a deliverable date from them. Do you see that?
I don't think it has dates in it because we haven't even set the starting. I mean, there's, series of meetings and deliverables.
Yeah.
We've got a set timeline.
But there was a discussion that they could get this started by the first of the year, as I recall, right? That even did something in December.
I'd have to look back at my notes. I believe that's correct, but I'm not certain of that.
Okay.
So I guess I would entertain motion from the board to approve the contract with Dubois and King for Legion Field community engagement and support, authorizing somebody to sign it.
So move for $6,000.
Who's the somebody?
Hmm?
Who you?
So
Tom,
moved.
Carl, and anybody?
Well, I'm getting there.
Okay.
Give me a finish, will you? To be signed by the chair or the town administrator.
Okay, there's a motion on the floor. Is there a second?
Second.
Is there further discussion?
Could you ask them for when the deliverable date will be, just so we have it on the calendar? But that's all.
Sounds good. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All those opposed? And the ayes have it. Next up is industrial park. It's kind of already covered in your report, Carl. What would you like
Yes,
to go over?
with TSSA, again, I don't have anything in addition to what I provided in your report, except that as I reviewed the ordinance, especially the last one, which was done, I think, in 2009. But the ordinance is fine. What I'm thinking is it might be good for the town is if we add a section that lists the map revisions so that in the future you could do a simple ordinance which amends that section to include your new map revision date. So let's say we do this now and we would add in that the TSSA is to be reflected on a map dated November 17, 2025. And in the future, if you amend it again, then you could just go in and amend that section to say the TSSA is now amended to reflect the map dated March 31, 2029.
So does that require the entire ordinance process to do that?
Yes, it would. If you're amending the ordinance, it needs to be done by an
Any-
ordinance, which
Yeah,
requires the
okay.
3-step process.
Any ordinance.
But that's pretty straightforward. Okay.
Yeah, it's much less complicated than originally saw it. So now it'll move the industrial park project faster, just so we can get it done before.
And we agreed just a map, not the meets and bounds. Is that correct?
Yes, I believe that's what you directed me last time, and that was something that I could follow up with Alec when we meet, is why that was listed in. Maybe we could refer to something using the tax map and lot numbers, if that helps. But I'll see what I would like to get his input.
Okay.
On that too. But certainly it would be a lot of work with the meets and bounds, I'm afraid.
That's coming up quickly.
Yeah, I'm thinking that that's something that could get completed and get off the work list quickly.
So we need to set a schedule for making those amendments to the ordinance.
My next step is to actually meet with Alec to compare what information he had with what I'm finding, and then be sure that we're on the same page, literally, for the map and what additions are needed to the TSSA. And those would be like his marching orders to produce that map, and then I can work on the ordinance.
And then we'll see a draft and maybe we'll change one thing, maybe we won't.
Yeah.
And then
Set a schedule.
we'll approve the draft. And then the public hearing will be right before our select board meeting.
So your next
Right.
meeting would be November 3rd? First
That'll be
Monday?
our next, but yeah, I think it's the third.
So we present the change and then the 17th have the hearing and then have the adoption at the first one in December after the hearing for the 3 steps.
Got the adoption in the select board meeting after the hearing. Then you still have the
Is that
30
30
day, well, it's 30 days after that.
Yeah, it's 30 days. notice.
Right.
So
Fair enough. I don't know if we need it at our next meeting, but if Alec had that and we have the draft at our next meeting, I don't know if we need you here. If you could just email it, we could review it. At our next meeting, and then we can start the process at our following meeting.
Yeah.
It's a lighter lift. Great.
that'd be great.
Anything further?
I don't have anything else. No.
Okay. Thank you very much, Carl. I
Okay.
appreciate it.
Yeah. Thanks for your work.
next up is the informational meeting planning.
Mhm.
Is there more information needed from the board? Less? Oh, Adrian really took the helm on the presentation. Very well done.
Thanks.
One good thing that came up is I met both over the phone, she was at that town, about the idea of maybe hosting like a brief music session from 5:30 to 6 and having it open to the public to kind of wander around while there's music and maybe refreshments like donuts and cider or something. So, like very informal, but one of the biggest hurdles we have is visioning the space, right? And that would help people vision what it could be. I don't think it's anything more than just making it a casual and welcoming place, is to be, or just open the doors at 5:30, but in that way we kind of get the tourists out of the way before the actual meeting starts.
For the what?
The informational meeting starts at 6.
Has that been posted?
Not yet, it's because it's a select board meeting, so it only
Right,
needs,
special select board meeting, we need 24 hours.
but I think once, I was kind of hoping that this would kind of shed light on.
I'd like it posted and put on Facebook Front Porch Forum for a couple of days so that the public all knows. And I mean, we could set that agenda really quick. I don't have heartburn. I don't know about the rest of the board about if we start at the same times at 6 and give 20-minute meander period. I don't know how you word that. That wording's tricky, right? Or maybe we could say that it's open at 5:30, and the building is open at 5:30,
And then the
the
meeting,
meeting starts at 6.
yeah, you call the order at 6. Quiet things down.
That'd work.
And we do have a projector there
I don't know.
and internet for mics, camera, everything. 'Cause this is a public meeting.
Might need to bring a lot of this stuff.
I don't know.
Probably not.
We might have to wing it and we might just have to record it on a cell phone and email it. It's not great, but I don't.
Yeah, I don't love that.
I think we could bring our setup over there.
I mean, if there's internet.
Oh, yeah.
Could we have the meeting there and then adjourn to here? I mean, have an open house there and then adjourn, have the meeting actually here.
We could have a inspection there.
Yeah, it's what
And then-
open house or inspection.
And
or-
I'm thinking about this really weirdly. I kind of bounced this off Rosemary, but we could do a site inspection for half an hour. And the meeting would actually start here at 6:35. Let's take 5 minutes to get from there to here. I'm open to suggestions here.
Mm.
If that makes life a lot easier, because then there's no real conversation, decisions, information given there. It's just a site inspection. Somewhat of a reclassification of roads, and then you have your hearing. Although this is different, I know.
Well, I fear that like people won't know to come. I don't know. I mean, we can make that clear there. But I feel like we'll lose some people in the transition over here.
Absolutely.
with that.
It's a little confusing.
Yeah.
That's why I asked. What do we
Yeah.
have there?
I mean, outside of the technology, we could hold it there. You know, Hope and I were talking about the format, like it's not very welcoming if the board's like, you know, if you guys are up in front and everyone's talking to you, maybe it should just be like one person from this board kind of be up front, like facilitating, and then having the board members in the audience with everybody answering as well and taking part. Like, how do you do this? Because it's not a traditional select board meeting, but like one person facilitating, but then having the board answer the questions based on your research. We can definitely run the projector and we can definitely on the wall probably, and we can definitely run your presentation. I just don't know. Recording would have to be like a cell phone and an audio recorder, and we could definitely put those online after, but I don't know that we have a good camera other than that.
Mhm.
Maybe we're solving a problem we don't need to. Do we know if they have internet connection there?
The water's not even turned on.
We could use the studio center's internet, maybe it would reach.
And like Wi-Fi,
Yeah,
probably like a point-to-point router, they probably do.
I think it would reach.
That's what I would propose, pay for a separate connection. All the stuff in the air, messing with your brain.
5G, you wait till it gets fixed.
Yeah,
I hate to be a Johnny come lately, just jump into the meeting, but I think the idea of maybe doing a site visit for a certain amount of time and coming down here and finishing it up. There's no water in the building. If you have some people in there any length of time, if they need to use the facilities, there's none there available for them. I think we need to make it as comfortable as we possibly can for the people who are interested in the information. So I would kind of jump on the idea of everybody just kind of looking it over, coming back down here and finishing it up.
It's a very good point about the bathrooms.
Doing all the other technical stuff sounds unnecessarily complicated too.
I think Adrian's right. If we're not clear, there's gonna be confusion from the public. Not all three people that are here. Um,
You let them know when.
Your job is to get the word out.
I think our YouTubes are hitting at least 10 views a video. So we got another.
Yeah, it's important we have it easily available for people to see and connect to, so we should probably just come back here and meet, have the official meeting here, like Evan suggested.
That could be part of that information campaign. I mean,
Can you get us the agenda first thing tomorrow morning? A
Yeah,
draft,
I
and-
have a draft here. What time? Can we just, what time do you want it to be? 6:30 to start here?
I mean, the front porch forum on Facebook post before I kept talking about 6, right? So
Yeah.
to stay consistent, I
Yeah.
would start there at 6.
Yeah,
And then I'll talk to Hope about maybe getting doors open at 5, but advertise 5:15. That way people can come and meander through.
is she's hiring a musician to come there or something?
No, the concept was that there's enough people who would be interested in playing for free. It would, the only cost would be donuts and cider.
Mm.
It just makes a better atmosphere than,
Start serving cider, people are definitely.
Okay. Our tree squirters really adding a lot here. I would say start there. The agenda starts there at 6.
You need to kind of give the background on that. A tree squirter, you know, that.
We're just assuming the worst, Mike.
I guess so.
Mike doesn't want to pay for the tree board to have the ash trees squirted every other year.
Oh.
So Evan started calling me the tree squirter.
All right, okay, we're getting off topic and it's my fault. Okay,
Yeah, she had to call me
it
the
was
tree
my
squirter.
fault. I
Well,
apologize.
You could have let that lie, you know.
I say we start there at 6 and then, you could say somewhere that the doors will be open early.
Yeah.
The select board will be there from 6 to 6:30 for a site inspection, at which point they'll adjourn and come back to the municipal building starting at 6:40. Gives them 10 minutes to get from there to here. You can walk a distance in 10 minutes.
I will draft the agenda, do such, and then push it out.
Okay. Well, yeah, send it to Adrian and I and we'll go from there. Is there anything, when we're talking about this informational meeting planning? I mean, we received the building inspection report today. Is there anything that we should add? We're gonna have to talk about it at some point, and I'm almost guaranteeing gonna have to be at the town meeting. I feel like it's better to own the high-risk items and say that there's other known ones that there's recommendations to fix. But that report was 200 pages long.
Yeah.
Let's print out 20 copies. Everybody can have one in color. I think we've run out of toner.
That's what the report come back.
It's long.
This afternoon, yeah.
But it's incredibly detailed, okay? So for all 10 people that watch us on YouTube, there was one page that, noted that there's no GFI outlet in the bathroom. That is a problem, but that was not like a high risk problem. It's very detailed. So it's the
There are a
high
lot
risk
of
one.
little things
There's a lot of little things, but
and some significant things,
certainly
but a lot of little things.
a lot of little things. But, we did pay for an inspection report.
So it sounds like we're gonna launch it.
That'll be posted on the website and
Can we post that on the town website?
I can put it on next to the view presentation button I put on there.
That would be a lot easier than printing them.
Yeah,
Um,
and maybe, should we put it on the agenda maybe, or?
so
Or
that
like
should be
just-
included in the front porch forum, whatever we're posting. You should say,
yeah,
here's the chronology, here's the resources you can look at in the meantime.
Mhm.
If, the site inspection is very, I used to be a building inspector myself. Licensed building inspector, and it's a lot of CYA.
Yeah.
Material.
Always.
So, I think that when we put it online, if there's not a disclaimer, I used to call myself a dream crusher. Because people would want to buy a house, I'd do an inspection, and I would tell them every single thing that was wrong. And it's overwhelming. And so I think not having the context of that is gonna cause a lot more, it's gonna cause a lot of questions, I think. So when you put it online, just make sure, maybe a point person to answer those questions. It might be important, because it's gonna bring up a lot with it.
yeah, I was mostly talking about like the red items being in the presentation, like these are known things that have to happen right away.
Okay, so you want,
I'm fine with the full report. It's a public document. It could go on the webpage. I think it's a great idea. I'm just talking in the presentation when we talk about it.
Got it.
We are not,
Yeah,
I'm not
you
gonna be
can't
able
go
to
through the whole
retain
thing.
a quarter of that.
Yeah.
What's the board think?
I think the full report should go on the website. It doesn't say like any kind of estimates, right? In it?
No.
Okay.
No,
Did that come out just today?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like what time?
maybe 11:30, I think. I think I forwarded it around 1, 2.
And then as far as like the presentation, we're thinking maybe just the red items to put in there. It's still like quite a bit. So, like, list
I
out.
just see they couldn't do the radar because the window was open. So,
There's a few hopper spaces, but there's no glass. It's just iron bars. But it's wide open to atmosphere, so I wouldn't have had any accuracy.
Fair enough. We don't have to have it in the presentation, just that we've done a building inspection.
Yeah.
There's like, even if there's just like, there are 5 things that are immediate concern and there are other things that are recommended repairs.
Yeah.
appreciate the fact they did do it.
It was very kind. Tell you, this guy was really, C3 was sharp as a tack, and he was very efficient, and for him to not take money from us, he would have.
Right, that's commendable. This day and age.
And, props to the village, they came out on short notice they put the meter in to turn the water on, just to test the fixtures. And then we stayed right there for the 10 minutes and shut it off and took the meter out, so everybody kind of came together to help on that. It's very nice.
Nice.
Is there anything else we need for the informational meeting?
So who wants to, I was saying that maybe Hope could talk about the slides that pertain to Vermont Studio Center, but maybe would you want to talk about like the financial things, and then
Yeah, I certainly can.
I could talk about
The rest.
I can talk about the rest, and maybe you guys could do like follow-up questions, like answering.
Sure. Yeah, I don't think we all need to have a speaking role unless we're answering questions or what have you.
Okay.
Quick plan.
We're all here anyways,
Yeah.
That's why I do think it's important for the board to be, it's not a us versus them thing, but it's a we have the information, we're trying to get it out there.
Mhm.
For the taxpayers, to tell us what they want us to do.
Yeah.
But if we're intermingled in the audience.
Maybe having Hope sit up next fall.
Yeah, that'd be great.
The architect was sick the last couple weeks, so he hasn't been able to do any of the egress stuff. I am meeting with him at 8:30 tomorrow morning. I have another meeting at 10 right after that first one, but I'm hoping that we can get in and have him take a look at some of the, at least name the changes that would have to be made, if not put a dollar amount to it. This is the first I've been able to potentially even talk to him, so. I can tell you what the fire marshal said needs to be done, I just don't have any costs to do that. So maybe when we get to that part, I can say that the building use as is would require X additional easements and accessibility, and then this change would require this change would require that. But, second floor is off limits until there's a second egress. And first floor as is needs a second egress at the top of the balcony, at the top of the height of the rake, if you will, level of the bathroom. And whereas if you lowered it all to one level, you would not need any additional egresses except on the second floor if you open it. So I can go over that stuff, but I just don't have the numbers, so.
Yeah, I mean, I would say email that out to the board, that full list, have to go with the architect or something, that way we know too.
Tough question. I don't know if we're all on the same page here, but my thinking is that we obviously present this at the town meeting. And we ultimately vote to take it or not. Let's assume that the town takes ownership of it. I'm thinking that there are certain things that need to be done immediately, like the foundation, shoring up the foundation. Those things that were included in that $150,000 price.
Yeah.
That hopefully we could cover, if not all of it with grant money, most of it with grant money. So then we stabilize the building. Next step is to consider all the possible uses and make a plan for how we intend to use the building. Once we know how we're going to use the building, then we can look at, okay, what work do we have to do to make the building suitable for these activities? And I'm thinking there's no reason we can't take it a step at a time, that we don't have to run out next year and spend $400,000 on a whole laundry list of work, as long as we've stabilized the building. And that we take it a piece at a time. We don't have to run out and fix it all up tomorrow. We can do work as we can afford it, whatever that means.
Sorry.
And I think that might help people if they are seeing it that way. Good old Yankee frugality. We take it a step at a time as we can afford it.
I agree with mostly what you said. I would say I'd like to put together a task force to decide what its use case should be. It'd be like a temporary task force, and whether that spawns a committee or something else that does whatever it's gonna be, then that's fine. So I could see that. And then I think for maintenance that, yeah, we should do like the immediate things for safety and everything like that. And then for everything else, it should be like ranked for us to tackle. And ideally, it'd be nice for all of our public infrastructure buildings and everything to have that list kind of combined, where we're like hitting things when it's like important to do, and we have like the money and funds to do that. So yeah. But yeah, I don't think it needs to be done all at once.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Unless we have the money to do that, like with a
Yeah.
grant.
Yeah, it was the safety and securing the infrastructure, like a lot of the rot. Really don't do anything with it, it shoots worse. You go ask the Historic Society about that. I think they've been asking for rot work to be done for 4 years, Lois.
Well, first off, we're gonna have to get the building. Several people have contacted me directly and asked me, what are we gonna do with the building? What's the plan for the building? And they're not too excited about it until they have a plan, and I'm sure that there are gonna be many people that are probably gonna speak to that issue at these meetings about they're not interested in doing anything with it until there's a plan for it. So this certainly is not a done deal by any means. This just depends on how people show up. I've had people even say to me, well, is it gonna be a direct vote the night of the special meeting? And I said, of course not. There's gonna be a discussion about it, just like there is any other town meeting. You know, I said, this now gonna be railroaded through. We're gonna have a thorough discussion about it before vote is taken. So don't worry about that, but, you know, I think there's gonna be some pushback in the community about this building.
Well, I think there are legitimate concerns about costs, about use, and, you know, none of us are developers, none of us are landlords or wanna be, so is that something we wanna do? So I think that's a fair conversation. But I think Peter's right. I think I tried to put together a little 5-year plan kind of thing and stabilize it, use it intermittently for Jubilee or what have you. And then, you know, as we go along, yeah, figure out exactly what we want to do and where's the money gonna come from. It's kind of a cart before the horse thing or chicken and egg thing, like,
Right.
you have a plan, you have a building.
I understand the whole concept, there's
Yeah.
other people around the community. that
Yeah, no,
don't get it. quite like that.
Yeah.
And so it depends on how many will show up.
If we do a year-long planning process for how we're gonna use it, it's not gonna be available to us.
True.
Right.
There's no
Maybe,
question-
maybe
there's no
not.
question about that.
It might still be available, but you don't know.
Yeah, I don't think we're ever guaranteed that, but I think we were trying to be considerate of the wishes. And gracious opportunity.
And I don't know if there's, you know, the ability to reach out to some of these folks who seem to be concerned that the select board does not want to listen to townspeople, and therefore their vote is non-binding, when in fact we wanted it to be non-binding to protect the town. If something were to come up after the town meeting that isn't in the interest of the town. That's why we wanted a non-binding vote, not to
Yeah,
run roughshod over.
you know, something as simple as a deed review by our attorney could prove that there's some easement in there that we're not even allowed to have people in. I don't know, I doubt it, but I'm just
Or
saying.
somebody else actually owns it. That the town squatted back in 18, whatever.
We sold it for $100,000 and we never owned it.
Yeah.
That'd be a heck of a deal. Yeah. I
People
agree.
want to take lessons.
Yeah, you do it again.
Another thing, as we're talking about it, I'm kind of thinking, you know, all of this stuff will be at the town meeting. This is an informational meeting. This is a special select board meeting for the purpose of information. But mostly the touch and feel, right? Do we want to come back here and do the presentation? Do we want to just have a site inspection for an hour and come back here to adjourn? So we can do it on video. I'm just throwing ideas at the wall here. Donna's clicking really fast, so this must be a bad idea.
It's a valid point that it's gonna be redundant. I think you're right. Everything you say on Friday, you're gonna say again on Tuesday. For sure.
But that's okay.
I'm fine with repeating myself.
Yeah, we could do it both times. I think.
Maybe we'll need to adjust the presentation a little bit if somebody says, well, you missed this.
Yeah,
Well,
it's
it does give us that time to, at town meeting, say, we missed a $10,000 expense for
We heard this, so we've added that.
Paul's bonus.
No one ever complains about too much information.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Good point.
Your eyes.
Only certain.
One other thing on this topic is Evan and I got an email from a resident saying that they weren't able to come to do the floor vote on the special town meeting day because they're handicapped and it's not accessible for them. So I didn't know if there was like a system that we've done in the past for floor votes to make it accessible for people that can't attend in person.
That is a Rosemary question as presiding officer of elections. The select board has no authority over that decision.
Oh, okay.
I know we haven't, but Roseberry is the election official. I know other towns have done something. Me personally, as an individual, if we're gonna offer it to one person, we need to get it out there as much as we can to all
It's
10 of our YouTube viewers saying, send the request to X for,
It's the school, not ADA.
I think it was mobility issues,
yeah.
not as much handicap accessibility issues.
Yeah.
I think I would just stress to move the question to either A, the Secretary of State Election Division to provide guidance to the town clerk, or reach out to the town clerk themselves, but it's really, that's there. I mean,
I
that
think they reached out to the town. Or reached
She
out
was
to her,
copied.
right? Yeah. But yeah, okay.
You keep talking about the 10 YouTube viewers. I really believe that there's gonna be quite a big turnout for this. I could be mistaken, but I think there is gonna be quite a few people show up, whether they watch it on YouTube or not, because the word is out there. We've got an inordinate, I think, amount of pushback from people already on this, so more so than usual on a lot of other things. So I think there is gonna be some interest in this.
Well, I hope we have a good turnout. It's healthy democracy.
Yeah, me too. I
Yeah.
hope- It wouldn't hurt my feelings, the whole town showed up, really. I mean, it
Yeah.
wouldn't.
Wouldn't hurt mine.
Yeah, we had to find some other place to go.
A lot of chairs to fold up at the end.
So it sounds like we're in pretty good shape. I'll take a look at those financials again and just like shore them up. Maybe I can make them more readable
Okay.
or something.
Mhm.
And if there's any other slides that like a specific select board member wants to take over, great.
Yeah, if anyone wants to interrupt me during presenting, if I miss something, please do.
Peter's really tech savvy over there with his laptop, and Mike, Paul and I are the. How do you press
Nice.
next?
Well, we haven't dug ours yet. Hey, I have to take a picture of that, so.
That's true.
Hmm.
All right, moving
So,
on. Oops, sorry.
Just to recap, open house at 5. Coming back here at 6:30.
I mean-
Where do we end up?
I would post the meeting for 6, as we've been saying for a month on and off the Front Porch Forum. It's not been officially posted. But we
Meeting
could-
here
we
at
could
6 or meeting
meeting
there
there
at
at
6?
6.
5:30, the doors open.
Yeah.
People can poke around.
Yeah,
6 o'clock.
site inspection.
6:30. Back here.
Okay,
6:40.
6:40.
Well, they would be leaving there at 6:30,
Right.
and then we would be starting at 6:40.
I'm good with that.
Sounds good.
Is that clear?
okay, got it.
Sometimes it's heavy traffic in downtown Johnson. so-
Yeah, for sure. Okay, next up.
The intersection, that's so tough.
Next up, we have 2 road naming requests. Justin has verified one with the Historic Society, and the other he is looking for approval pending Johnson Historic Society approval. So I would entertain a motion to approve the private road names of Sap Run Drive
In Tiffany's Way.
and Tiffany's Way pending Johnson Historic Society approval.
That's true. You made the motion, I'll second.
Sure, I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
All right. Further discussion? Historic Society has never not approved a private road name, Lois. Why is that?
Because the folks who send them in come up with pretty good choices.
Mhm.
The last one, they changed their mind.
Mm.
And, but we agreed, it made perfect sense.
Mhm.
All right. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? And the ayes have it. I should have said. Next up is the health officer reappointment. Tom, have you verified Dean, PJ, and Crystal Earl still on?
Spoke with PJ and Crystal. I did not confirm from Dean, but he hasn't stated. I did see him Friday night, and he didn't mention he didn't want to do it. So I think it's safe to appoint him, and then if he doesn't want to do it, he won't do it.
Are all three of them currently health officers?
It was currently Dean and BJ, but the new system of how we handle dogs and health officers, it's one running text message, so it's all together. Because a lot of times there's overlap between health officer and dogs, especially when bites are involved. And so it makes a lot of sense to have Crystal's involved in the health officer process without being a health officer many times, and where she has no authority to take action. So it just makes sense to have all three do it. And I included in the packet the guidance from the state to have multiple health officers.
Right, saw that.
And this reappointment is for health officers only or animal control officers and health officers?
Just health officers only. Animal control is just a regular after town meeting thing.
Okay.
And this is a paid position?
On a stipend, it's like paid per call.
Yeah.
And paid, I could look up the scale, but I don't have it memorized at all. Originally, it was a yearly stipend, and then it went to a per call, per phone call, per site visit.
Correct.
Allotment stipend, what am I looking for?
I think it's like a per diem maybe.
Per diem?
As needed.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. And they all usually do 1 to 2 timesheets a year, typically around holidays or vacation. It's not a lot. It's less than 5,000, I think, for both. Fine.
Were all three of these invited to the meeting tonight for this appointment?
They were not.
Okay. I've never met Crystal before, so I kind of feel uncomfortable voting for someone I haven't met.
Crystal's been with the town since before I started doing dog stuff.
I'll make a motion. to
Go for it.
appoint Dean Locke, BJ Putane, and Crystal Earl as our town health officers.
Motion a second for the discussion.
I'd rather not vote for Dean or Crystal. Dean because he wasn't aware of his appointment, and Crystal because I've never met her before. So I will say yes to BJ, but no to the others.
Okay. Is that an amendment from the motioner and the seconder, or no?
She doesn't, we can leave it the way it is, she can just abstain.
That's fine. She could vote no.
Right.
Okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
Nay.
And the ayes have it. Financial policies, I believe we're going over that, right? Tom, yes, Tom.
Jumping in.
Lowell Lecture Hall inspection report. We kind of jammed on this about 10 minutes ago. What were your? You're just telling the board we received it.
We received it, and I think action items are read in the report and the whole thing online. Read in the presentation.
Yeah, I guess we kind of, does anybody else have any questions about it? Very thorough, nice job.
Very thorough.
One thing I would like to be overly liberal with the taxpayers' money. I think it was a good report, and I think it's worth trying to either budget or do this year an inspection report for the Historic Society building and for the town shop. I'm not against the report here, but this building, out of the buildings we own, seems like it's in good shape.
Millhouse.
That's a joint property. So is the town garage. But there's an agreement.
So what are you saying here? Sorry. Yeah.
He knows what he's saying.
I'm
Is it just
saying,
me?
I'm saying if the board would support it, at a future meeting, I would like to approve a building inspection be done on the Historic Society and the town garage. We can take it up at the next meeting, mull it over for a while. Lois has something she wants to
Well,
say.
I just wanted to add that the Historical Society had the Historic Preservation do a study and a report has been prepared and been sent to Tom.
Yeah,
So
Carl
it's
has
been done.
And that was done in the last 6 months or so.
I think it was
We got the report back,
Okay.
so.
Did we receive
Maybe
that?
copy that.
Yeah.
When?
I don't think I've seen it.
Probably February maybe. A long time. It was, I think it was over the winter that they,
Was it as detailed?
I don't think it was as detailed, but it had the similar highlights of what needed to be done.
And I'm sure it was discussed in some meeting, somewhere along the line.
I don't know that you folks ever discussed it, but we've taken the list and we've had things from that list taken care of.
Yeah.
The railings and that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the list we've been sending in for what we needed more support with. So, I mean, welcome to do another inspection, but it's a very detailed one, which is a follow-up to the original one we did 10 years ago.
It's funny. I hear you and I appreciate it. And I'd love to see it. But you know, if they went in and did an inspection, I feel like this whole conversation of knob and tube wiring that we had 3 months ago would have already been a no.
It was known.
It wasn't.
Yeah, that was like that was in that report. The report was forwarded to the board in February and then again, I think at the time of the knob and tube, and then it also was again in the springtime when they first came with their list of items to do. But if Randall had it done, that's it right there. Yeah.
Okay.
Can you forward it to me and Paul,
Yeah.
that email, since we were on the board at the time?
Yeah. Yeah, I think I know it, and again in July. So.
Fair enough. Don't pay for one then. Conversation for a future
don't
meeting.
You paid for half of that one. We paid
We-
half and you paid half.
It's a bargain.
Apparently,
But I'm in favor of the other buildings you mentioned being inspected.
we'll talk about a future meeting. I was just chucking it out there.
Okay.
Next up, Scribner Bridge, Powerhouse Bridge.
Night, Lois. Yeah, Lois.
Tom is looking for direction from the board. Tom's looking for direction from the board. If they should look into contracting or having the work done in-house or
Yeah, that's
Scrivener
Scrivener
Bridge
Bridge
sign.
is a big road. We spent $70,000 on that bridge. To nowhere, so to speak. Trying to find some so-called free money, which never happened, and we probably could have fixed that bridge for money or less. So we need to fix it.
So is graffiti the issue? Or is it
Powerhouse,
just
graffiti, Scribner, siding.
Siding?
So you've been through Scrivener Bridge lately?
Lately, no.
You used to live right there.
Yeah, you just live on the corner. I think I strolled through it.
Hasn't been touched since you lived there.
Well, it wasn't there when I left, so. Okay, I'll have to go look at it. So what are we thinking here? We're,
I think Tom is asking for direction from the board on contracting out or doing it in-house.
For both?
The highway crew does have they were ramped up to go, I think was it last fall or last winter? Remember they were gonna rent a lull and do it, and then something caused it to delay. I mean, they only have 4 guys right now, so I think for a special project like this, if you say, guys, we want this to be a priority, Jason will make it a priority and do it. So I think that's what I'm asking is, do you want me to tell Jason to make this happen before winter? Or do you want me to go get bids from contractors? And I think it needs to get done. There's plywood lining the inside.
Four people on a crew has nothing to do with it, really.
I think that's why.
When I worked for Morrisville, two of us built a bridge. So a whole bridge start to finish.
I think
so. 4 people is plenty to do the job.
I mean, I think it definitely is, but I don't think he's gonna do it, Colin. It's not on his list of things to do right now.
We
Because
can make it,
that's what I'm asking, yeah.
make it.
be nice if I'd seen it, so I would know what I'm talking about, so I can't really comment. We're just talking about just re-society it like it used to be.
There's siding issues, there's plywood on the inside to prevent people from picking it out, and then there's a bunch of boards just that are just falling off. It's in pretty hard scrabble shape.
Well, they kicked the boards off, somebody has.
Yeah, and Jason has a plan to repair it in a manner that they can't continue doing that.
Well, then he should do it.
Yeah,
That's the way I feel.
I'm fine with making a priority both bridges.
And then the graffiti, has that ever happened before?
Yes,
And so I don't know what the protocol is. What's the normal standard? How do you respond?
I think the last, depending on where it was, I think the last time we hired somebody to do it, right?
That was before my time. Rosemary would be a good resource
Yeah.
on that.
Well, you just sand it off?
I think they pressure washed it, didn't they?
Would I call like the mobile blasting to have them like do that sand blasting? Take it off?
Well, I don't know about that. I mean, a lot of times on wood, they have to use, like walnut shells or something like that.
Yeah.
So, and that's biodegradable. So then you have to worry about to get stuff in the water.
Not to catch it, yeah.
So,
Maybe ask Rosemary. And as
Yeah.
for the siding on Scribner Bridge,
let's take care of the bridge, the Scribner Bridge first. And then we'll find out about the logistics on the graffiti.
ask
And that way
Rosemary,
it doesn't hold us up in Scribner Bridge.
ask Rosemary about what happened with the graffiti last time.
Well,
Somebody,
Mark would know.
there's an F and an I, and then somebody got interrupted. Must have been somebody drove by. They gave up. So.
This is kind of unrelated, but the beautification committee bought a really big wreath to go on the Powerhouse Bridge. So I don't know if we're gonna come to the town and ask if the town can hang it up. So I don't know if that could be done at the same time as whatever work's gonna be done there, but same.
Probably should be done with the timing of Scribner Bridge because of the equipment that will be needed to replace the siding of Scribner Bridge. They're gonna have to need all the same safety equipment, boat in the water, et cetera, to hang on and over. To hang everything.
How much do you think it would cost to reside that from a contractor?
I think it's gonna, I don't know. I mean, that's kind of the question. Do you want me to, how do you want me to?
Is this safety, I mean, is it a safety issue for our guys to do it? We're talking scaffolding and safety harnesses.
They're not gonna do scaffolding and you're gonna use it with like an extendable long wire. Yeah, but it is if you were to hire somebody out, I think it would be pretty expensive because of that equipment. You have to be, anytime you work over water, there's a whole nother state set of stuff that our guys have in-house that you're not paying for because we already have it. Whereas if you contract it out, it's like a premium on it.
Well, tell them we appreciate the fact that they're gonna fix it.
Is that the way the whole board feels? You guys want to handle it in-house?
Yes.
I'm the outlier here, so I guess we're handling it in-house.
All right,
Move on
I'll report back with a schedule.
for that, and then you're gonna follow up with Rosemary on how the Powerhouse graffiti was handled last time.
You got it. And I'm great. Good research.
Okay. Moving on. Yes, no, maybe so.
Yep.
Gravel pit.
So gravel pit is, this was a really big win last week where, as you know, there was the issue where we were potentially covering up about $35,000 in material. Since been negotiated to use the grant from Vermont Emergency Management to pay for the prepping of that pit, which would include removing the remaining 5,000 to 6,000 yards and exhausting the pit. So that way that is now ready to be closed. But it also gets it out of there this fall and gets us a credit of $35,000 for next year's budget or on this year's budget. But this is a big, that was a good
Oh,
win.
yeah.
That makes it available to put fill from elsewhere, right?
Correct. So this could be our new contaminated site for every time we pull knotweed or other invasives. It could be, it's ready to take future flood mitigation. And it's been approved as, there's this thing called urban soils. So anytime you take soils from an area that's deemed urban by the Vermont Agency of Natural Resources, that you have to put it from urban areas to urban areas. You're not allowed to take it out unless you have an approved site. And this site's already been pre-approved as a urban soil dumping ground. So as we do some of these other flood mitigation projects, we have a site that can accept this. And that's a big deal
It's
because,
huge.
yeah, it is. So,
It's funny how we're rural sometimes and urban other times.
Yeah.
so wow, a lot of good, that was a very quick conversation, but then now that that's gonna be done, right? I mean, I guess let's celebrate the win. We just got $35,000 we didn't expect, right? So now, what do we want to do for the next step? Now that that pit is exhausted, the board has talked about possibly buying land to either expand that gravel pit or buying a pit elsewhere, or just budgeting solely buying processed material from other people.
We never got a price for that gravel pit, did we?
No, we have some preliminary reports on it, which probably should be discussed in executive session under real estate, but if the board wants to research it, let's put it on the agenda as an executive session to kind of lay it out what we know so far.
There was a very extensive boring stuff on that piece of property that we were thinking of buying.
And then
That's all been done.
exactly,
ago.
and we'll have to, reinvestigate landowner landowner interest, if that's even a possibility. But it's a lot of work to put into a project if you guys don't want me to do it. So that's, I guess, asking for that direction. Do you want to move that direction, or do we want to hold off till spring? How do you want to do that?
I don't know where it scored, but gravel pit was on the select board priority list. No, it was lower. Yeah.
Well, if we're moving forward with it, it doesn't mean that we can't move that on.
Fair enough. It's fine.
Because it's something we have to take care of. One way or another.
I heard a statistic that the state of Vermont might be out of mound sand, which is needed for septics, in as early as 4 years. And so I think sand and gravel are going to be limited resources, especially as development continues in our state. So maintaining and accessing gravel, it's going to be something of importance for us to consider. But I think the unforeseen issue with this pit is that it was too small to bring in a crusher, which means we had to take it out and bring it to another person to process. And so as we go through this, the next gravel pit, whatever that is, we have to make sure it's big enough that we can process on site, so that that'll make it cost effective to have our own gravel pit. Right now, we're almost break even. And of course, we'll talk about this more as we do it, but just have those are the big questions that we really need to put down on paper and lay it all out, if that's simple. Do you want?
Sounds to me like it makes sense to look into the purchase, investigate it.
I'd like the FEMA buyout properties to be looked at to see if they have any gravel or sand. So if we turned one of those into a pit, it could be an area for floodwater to go to, as like lowering it.
It's a possibility. It's not like a long-term viability. Like we talk about the Holmes Meadow project, right?
Adam Sandy Long.
Even if it was all perfect gravel, all crushed, that's what, 3 years, 6 years,
3
depending on
years.
the winter.
There's 8,000 yards a year that we put up.
Yeah.
And that's not including our gravel for our roads. It's just our sand. And so that 8,000 yards is only, we're taking 24,000 out of 3.5 acres Holmes Meadow. So it's quite a lot of material. We use our roads use a lot of material.
Without getting crazy in depth with that, I agree with Adrian's statement. It's doable, but I'm just saying it's not like long-term viable. It's more like a shave here, shave there. You can.
Yeah.
And I've said for years.
There's not a lot you can take. You're talking about the houses and you just drive into the village?
I don't know any of our properties. I don't know what the
Well,
soil conditions are.
You
and,
start pulling out, you're gonna have a big hole since you drive into Johnson.
Well, I just want to know, I just wanted someone to come look at the properties and see if that's even an option.
Gravel is a resource that's depleting every day. And where there's really good material, people build houses. I would like, back on subject, I would like the 3 things that were kind of in our priority list looked at, and one is purchasing as an extension from the landowner. I do believe our previous deed restricted crushing, so we would need to be allowed that. I would look at both options. Right now, we got it for $1 and we paid a royalty basically. I think that works out great. I don't know if the owner's interested in that or wants to sell it outright. So that's option 1, extension from where we are. Option number 2 is talking with other towns that have gravel pits to see if something could be worked out and we could purchase from them instead of our money going to company. If we go to, you know, more those pits, if it's large, Hyde Park's pits large, they're farther away. But we're also buying material from Eaton for a long time. Our pit doesn't have to be in Johnson. There are other locations in Johnson that we could look at a pit, so it's the extension here, purchase there, work with another municipality.
It all comes down to numbers.
For me. And
Me
even,
too.
I would be interested in that even if we continue purchasing our material for a while, because it would be a resource that we would have, future taxpayers would have.
Yeah.
And already own.
We, maybe the 11-17 minute meeting as like a discussion.
Sure. And also, no road expert. I agree that crushed material is better. But the need to use it everywhere, I'm not 100% convinced. A lot of the flat sections could be screened. The hills being crushed, so it packs better makes sense, but it's a lot of cost to crush it.
I think you're entering
We
into
have a
the
lot of hills.
23rd century thinking right there. I think as resources get more expensive, both paving and gravel will be dealt with in segments and not dealt with whole roads as we do worse first.
So Tom's looking for direction from the whole board. I'm gonna start with Paul. You guys know how I feel and you can disagree.
I think we should look at purchasing. I think the 3 options you had are good ones. Extension, purchase,
Working on this.
collaborative municipality.
Well, we should look into all things.
Look into all the things.
Agreed.
Is that straight direction, Tom?
Yeah, that's great.
Okay. Next up, Holiday Jubilee. I did speak with Kyle yesterday and she's available by phone if there's questions.
She's online.
Oh,
How dare. She didn't even wave to me. She didn't wave to me yesterday when I drove by. She does not get to speak.
hi Kyle.
Maybe she'll wait till you now. She turned the camera on.
Hopefully you know that was a joke.
Yes.
So Kyle, could you tell us what the request is for the town?
Sure. Yes, my request is that the town submits a state permit for the Johnson Jubilee Parade that will start at Johnson Elementary School this year and end at the municipal building.
Wonderful, thank you.
Yes.
Do any board members object to that?
No.
Not at all.
Will somebody make a motion so that's clear?
I'll make a motion that the town sponsor the parade for this event,
Fill out the permit?
and the chair or the town administrator fill out the permit and sign it.
Did the village used to sponsor that?
There's a motion on the floor. Is there a second or is the motion dying? We'll go into further discussion.
Second.
Okay, there's a second. Further discussion.
Did the villagers take care of that?
Well, the parade isn't, it's starting at the elementary school.
I understand the parade, but the other part that you added,
Oh, I was just said the
we
parade.
were gonna sponsor it, you said. Your motion was to sponsor it?
Didn't we typically, I mean, the Jubilee historically was done by Johnson Works before there was hiccups there.
Yeah.
Right? That was a independent organization and the town sponsored the Jubilee. Correct? Incorrect.
I thought the village, Kyle, did the village have something to do with that?
The only thing that the village had to do with it was the use of the village green, which I have past Johnson Works and now myself have to fill out a facility use form and then pay for the insurance to use that green. Last year, Mike, they were the ones that filled out this parade permit for me, and for whatever reason, they asked the town to do it this year, and I'm not really sure why, but that's where we're at. So I don't need any money for the Jubilee from the town or the village. I've gotten another grant to pay for it, so so there's no money involved. I just need a municipality to fill out the paperwork for the state permit for the parade, and that's it.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you, Kyle. Next
Thank
time.
you.
wait.
Mhm. I will. If I can see your face, I will.
Anything on old business? Because we have the additions as well. I don't think so. Councilor service area might come off there soon. It's fun. Next up is the municipal planning grant resolution. The board received that from Tom today. And can you take that, Tom?
Yeah, so this is a form that needs to be included with the municipal planning grant. Paul Warden, Jesse Whitworth, Seth Jensen, Brent Raymond, and myself have been kind of meeting and talking about how to best utilize the municipal planning grant. And because we decided decided to do a consortium with Morristown as the administrator of the grant and Johnson as just a grantee, that municipal resolution is required for each town, so we have to put this in. The grant's due on November 3rd, which means we don't really have another meeting in time before we can do this resolution, which is why it was kind of rushed in today.
And we did discuss and approve this last meeting, so this is just the paperwork at the minute.
I think we just need a motion to approve the resolution with an authorized signature.
But we all have to sign it.
Yeah, there's a signature copy in the envelope on the second page. In that great folder is a signature copy.
No. Oh, well, anyways.
That's in the back. That's been all the additions in the back.
So I move that we approve the fiscal year 26 municipal resolution for a municipal planning grant for the town of Johnson with Brett Raymond named as the Morrisville manager, Brett Raymond, the Morrisville town manager, named as the authorizing official, Don McDowell of the Morristown Select Board being named as the second authorizing official, and Adele Talpin, Morristown Economic and Community Development Director, named as the grant administrator, as you have in your packets.
All right, motion a second, further discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? I guess the ayes have it. Next up is the interlocal kennel agreement and renewal. Tom, can you take that while we're signing here?
So this interlocal has been in place for almost a year and a half now. It's an annual update. I emailed this out to the board maybe 3-4 weeks ago. had the changes in yellow just to make it renew every year. And so this just needs a signature from the town of Johnson so that we can continue the use of the kennel, which is under lease by the town of Hyde Park, but is being used by the town of Johnson in this interlocal kennel agreement.
$5,000 a year.
Yeah, which is what it went up to last year.
That is,
Gotta have it.
this went to the board on October 6th.
I guess my only comment is we're not the town of Morrisville.
Wait a minute. But it does say do a lot. I think we can cross it and initial it. This came from, obviously, Hyde Park. Authorized official for the town of Johnson.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
So,
How's the board feel? Would we like to approve or get an amended version that says town of Johnson and approve it at our next meeting?
Did you say there's a deadline on this? Okay. Mm,
I missed a little bit. Is it this that we're concerned about?
That's it. I could email, I'll have to email Alex.
Well, this agreement shall not take effect nor be binding on either party unless the agreement is approved by a representative select board of the town of Hyde Park and the town of Morristown. Execution of this agreement. I'm assuming that there's just multiple because I found two.
well, let's just have them fix it.
Right, I'll shoot him an email.
I mean,
right now.
I'm assuming they sent it in a PDF, but you could mark up a PDF, and just send it back to them, maybe review. Just do a control F for Morristown. It's fine. So,
Can we approve it with pending those corrections?
sure,
why not?
and give signature authority too.
Okay. Move that we adopt the interlocal agreement regarding animal sheltering between the towns of Hyde Park and Johnson, pending the corrections to town names, and authorize the chair or town administrator to sign.
Motion and second
Well
for the
done.
discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. You got that, Tom? Cool. Next up is high water signs from the Vermont Department of Environmental Conservation, I believe. I received the email, Tom put it in the packet. Trying to find it here. There's Tessa. She reached out from the Engagement and Community Support Floodplain Manager for Watershed Management Division of the Rivers Program. And she is working with the Army Corps of Engineers and Burlington National Weather Service to bring new high water mark signs to Vermont flood impacted towns. She was just reaching out to see if Johnson would be interested in adding a high water mark sign to the town. Does the board want me to reply and say, yes, we're interested, give me more information, or no, we're good?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, well, high water mark. Yeah, well,
They want it in a prominent location, but it is historically significant, you know, even, I just didn't want to sign the town up without, so get more info.
Well, they're always interesting. I mean, every time you go by that monument down in Cambridge, you see the high water mark, 27 flood.
Yeah.
It's just
Do
interesting.
you see the one they did in Morrisville on their wells? You can see off Route 15 as you're headed towards Hardwick. They painted a white line on their well building. It said 2023 flood, and it's tragic, but also unique. Whatever. I'll get more info.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I think it's a good idea.
Sure.
Next up, we have 2 executive sessions. Potential action out of 1, but I'm not sure.
So
I don't know if I would say stick around.
Maybe I should stick around.
I'm less thinking that there will be action. I don't want to waste your time. You can wait around if you want.
Well, I mean, you decide.
I could just text. them.
Yeah, we can say what it is.
Okay.
Okay, so first off, I would entertain a motion to enter into executive session for whichever one the board wants. One is for employee evaluation and one is for pending or probable civil litigation, but that's a 2-parter, I think.
Well, let's do that one first.
that's a two-parter?
I think, I don't know, maybe not. A1 E.
Then we make the official motion, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, so you need to make a specific finding that premature general public knowledge would clearly place the municipality at a disadvantage. And to enter into executive session.
Well, this says executive session for pending a possible civil litigation or prosecution to which the public body is or may be party. That'd be 1 VSA 313A1E.
Prior knowledge of which.
Yeah, you just say prior knowledge of which could place us at a disadvantage.
Yeah, you said it. Probably should have been clear, so.
You clear on that one,
Nice and
Donna?
clear.
Is this just the finding that it puts you at a disadvantage, or are you combining and going?
It's just combined.
Okay.
Do you want more clarity?
Oh, no, I got
Okay,
it.
Mike made the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Peter.
We also have to say who's there or invited. Is that?
With, you know, with
The board and
the
TA.
board and the town administrator.
Seconders okay with that? amendment? Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All those opposed? The ayes have it. The board is entering executive session at 8:53.
Thanks.